weak pawns on the e file. So coming back to the game, bishop e3 is quite playable as well. Bishop g7, queen d2. Similar idea of going bishop h6 as compared to the Yugoslav attack in the Sicilian Dragon variation. c6, a4, a5. So a5 is a little bit strange because generally you want to keep your pawns flexible on the queen side. But maybe he was afraid that white would continue to clamp down on the queen side with a4 to a5, and as such, he was responding to that. f3, castles, h4. Knight h5. Thanks for following FIDE Trainer Net. g4, yeah. So knight to h5 really helps black to proceed with his attack. And I think that what black was thinking of was that he wanted to go knight to g3 in view of the fact that h4, every move that you make weakens a square, and over here the g3 square was weakened. But after knight h5, knight ge2 stops this threat, and now g2 to g4 comes with much more force as compared to before. So I think knight h5 was a decisive mistake already. When it is when dealing with an incoming onslaught, every single tempo is really important, and here black just gives away two moves. Because knight g2 is a useful move, and g4 obviously is a useful move because it prepares h4 to h5. Yeah, and now, yeah, it's a matter of time. White's going to go h5, maybe knight to g3, and then followed by queen to h2, and there will be no good way to defend h7. So I think black is in some trouble here, and Ethan is doing very well. Yeah, I should add that the time control is that the players get 15 minutes, and I think it's 10 seconds increment, while the master gets the 105 minutes with 10 seconds increment. I think queen f, yeah, after h5, queen f6, threatening to take on f3, bishop g2. Yeah, and now black is in trouble because after knight a6, white goes bishop g5, and the queen is trapped, which Ethan will find a heartbeat, being a tactically inclined player. Yeah, so I expect this game to be over soon. Yeah, this game looks exciting. Me Boo Boo. So Me Boo Boo is Zachary, yeah? I think he was the winner of last week's challenge, successfully beating WGM Gong Qian. And here, this is a crazy position. So black is a piece up. Black is a piece up, but his king is extremely naked. All his pawns are gone. I'm expecting white to play queen takes b6, sacrificing a second piece, and after knight takes d3, king to e2. And how is this position? Is this mate? Like white is threatening queen b7 and queen c6, so there are two ways to checkmate black over here. So queen to b7 and queen to c6. So black must be able to defend against both threats. I don't know, king d7, run as fast as you can. So queen to b7. So if king e8, I think this loses because there's queen to c6. This looks awful. But even here, I mean, rook d7. Black is really barely holding on, but I don't actually see mate. Which is kind of weird because you expect this to be a puzzle rush kind of position and you execute mate in 5 seconds, but it's not at all straightforward. And also there's king e6. Fighter fam says it's terrible. Yeah, it looks completely lost, but black is 2 pieces up, so white has to prove that the sacrifices are worth it. So at this juncture, I'm not quite seeing a clear win. Yeah, but if you don't take on b6, bishop takes c5 is out of the question because black replies with bishop c5 and this bishop shores up the defense on the queen side, defending b6, and then now combining defense with attack as well. So knight c5, yeah, bishop c5 is out of the question. Queen takes b6 is absolutely forced. And what happens after this? Yeah, this I have to agree that this looks horrendous, but how is black losing? Ah, there's queen b5 check. Maybe this. And this is quite, it's not an easy move to make, I think. And the point is, if black goes king e7, there's bishop g5 winning the queen. And at some point, white is going to crash through and win more material. So this is out of the question. Queen b5, probably king to e6 is the only move. And now queen to c6 check. How is this? Yeah, I suspect this is winning. Isn't there mate? Yeah, that's what I think so. I think that this should be made, but I want to be absolutely certain. Because it's a question of time that before we get to this position actually, because after king e2, what else can black do apart from king d7? Like for instance, if you try to defend with queen e7, this looks like there's going to be mate, but at the very minimum I can go, for instance, queen to a6 or queen to c6. I'm just choosing here, but one of these moves should lead to a material gain. So for instance this, I guess, just for example this. Yeah, and this should be crushing. So I'm not sure. I'm inclined to, yeah, if anybody has any suggestions, I'll be happy to hear. What about c6? King d7. Where is c6? What do you mean? How do you go c6? Yeah, I'm even considering a move like rook hd1 just to bring another piece into the attack, and now I have all of my major pieces in the game. Yeah, this also looks extremely promising. Now I'm going to take the knight with check, and yeah, it's really hard to imagine that black can survive this. So I'm interested to know what's going to happen. I think that has happened. White goes bishop b5, which I've missed. Yeah, and of course you should do that, because instead of losing a piece, you save the bishop and you go queen takes b6. Yeah, I completely overlooked bishop f5. Queen e7, castles, king d7. Yeah, now this is a much better version as compared to just now, because now I have all my pieces in the attack. So this should be curtains soon. I think queen to b5, queen to b5, and this is mate. So it looks like Zachary is not going to repeat his wonderful feat from last week. So I see a second loss. Let's look at it. I see a wow, look at that king. Wow, look at that. Look at this. What a king hunt. So it's kind of funny because normally normally in the when you're using electronic boards where the games will be broadcasted live, the way to show to lock down the result of the game is to put the kings on the right square. So for instance, if it's a draw, normally you put the king on e4 and e5, or d4 and d5, and if it's a white win, you put the kings on e4 and d5, and vice versa. So if black wins, they put the kings on e5 and d4. So that's how the electronic boards registers the final result. And here black seems to have done the same, but I think it's involuntary, running his king all the way to the e4 square. Yep. And I didn't know that Lichess has this, this function, or rather the coloring theme that is in red. It's a little bit dark. Like, is that blood? I never realized this. Yeah, the poor guy got brutally checkmated here. So let's see what happened. Yeah, so the white started with knight c3. That's also one of King of the Hill variant. I've heard of this variant many times, but yeah, I just the other day on one of my streams I was playing, like one of the viewers was like asking me to play atomic chess, and I made a fool of myself. I would like to know more of these variants and start playing those a bit more often. Now that I'm a grandmaster, I can take chess a little bit less seriously, I suppose. So knight c3, e6, d4, d5. Yeah, e4 will transpose to a usual knight c3 French. And then anything can go here, like knight f6, bishop b4. These are all standard moves. He continued with knight f3, which a little bit unusual, but is certainly playable. Bishop b4, g3. Yeah, Ethan's not playing any theory here. He's just making moves and getting a playable position. Bishop c3, bc3, queen c7, e3, bishop d7, bishop d2. Yeah, kind of unnatural to play in this respect. So yeah, black can try to go c4 or bishop to a4. This is typical French style. Clamping down on the queen side and go c5 to c4, and then develop his knights. Knight e7, bishop d3. Yeah, here is you definitely should try to go for c5 to c4, followed by bishop a4. I think this is based on my understanding, having played the French for decades. Yeah, this actually looks quite promising. Knight bc6, rook b1, b6, h4. There you go. That's the Eton style. Yeah, so this is quite sophisticated. So I think Eton understood that the bishop was not functioning that well on the d3 square, so he maneuvers to another diagonal. So probably g2. Yep. And now the pawn break of e3 to e4 comes into play. Yeah, so I think he's going crazy in the center as well as on the king side. He's going e4, f4, and so on. Yep, black has gone wrong here. I feel like black should be fine, but I'm not entirely sure how. So maybe black could have taken on e4, and after bishop takes e4, f5. Bishop to f3. And now what to do here? Knight d5 maybe. Yeah, knight d5 threatening knight to f6 and trapping the queen would have been a disaster for white. And taking the knight is completely out of the question because now black gets rook e4 and he has a good game. Okay, I mean b5 is hanging all the time, but there's always the counter capture with knight takes d4. Yeah, it's kind of strange that these pawns are hanging. So I guess that's why black played queen to b8, but putting the queen opposite the rook is generally not a good idea. So I think, yeah, here I think that something has gone wrong. After f4, I mean there is some argument for the move, the ugly looking move f7 to f5, because eventually you can get the knight to e4. So knight to d8 to f7 to d6 to e4. It looks like a slow plan, but the position is so blocked that I don't think white will be able to exploit that extravagant use of time. So what happened after f6, e4 here? Yeah, loses a pawn. Still kind of hard to imagine how the king eventually got to e4. It takes a lot of effort to get there. Yeah, I think black's just blundering at this point. And now the piece is gone. Knight d5, bishop d5, rook b8. I see. Okay, I think he blundered queen takes f8. And here comes the walk. That's a brutal execution by Ethan against Jacob Dragon. So I see that there are a few more wins. Let's look at it. I see 2 wins here. Another win over here. This is a nice checkmate. So let's look at how this checkmate came about. e4, e5, b3. Don't do this at home, guys. Like b3 is Ethan experimenting with in the opening, but yeah, generally you don't do this against. So there are many systems where white goes b3 on move 2. So for instance, e4, c5, b3 is quite normal, I think. And also knight f3, e6, b3 was played by none other than Garry Kasparov in the Blitz tournament recently against I believe Wesley So. So these systems do exist, but e4, e5 is kind of like the one of the situations where you don't go bishop to b2 because the pawn on e5 is blocking the bishop, and black can immediately try to take the initiative by attacking e4. So instead black went knight c6, bishop b2, knight f6, knight f3. Yeah, I'm wondering about this position now. Can black go knight takes e4? So by the way, if there's anything wrong with the stream, please just highlight it to me. So somebody was telling me that the echo was too loud, or the screen was being cut off or something like that. So if there's something wrong with the stream, please let me know in the chat. Yeah, this is kind of weird. So if knight takes e4, I suppose he was planning queen to e2, because after knight e5, bishop e5, queen e7, and I think white is somewhat in trouble. So I'm guessing after knight takes e4, Ethan was intending queen to e2. But even here, I think there are some issues to be solved, because after, for instance, d5, maybe d3, I guess. Knight to f6, knight takes e5, takes, and bishop e6. Or queen takes e5, bishop e7. Or maybe this is not so bad for white actually, because now the white bishop on b2 is breeding, and he has an easy plan to go knight d2, long castle, and then some shenanigans on the king side like h3, g4, or and so on. Anyway, in the game, black played d6, bishop b5, bishop d7. Could they have taken on e4? What is wrong with knight takes e4? I don't quite see it. What is wrong with knight takes e4? Queen e2, knight f6, or what? I don't know. I don't see it. Queen e2, knight f6. Yeah, if d4, you go d5. And black's doing very well. So I'll ask him this maybe later after the stream, or in fact after the Simul. He will be coming on live. He'll be joining. He will be giving some of his comments, as well as awarding the highlighting some of the games that he feels are well played. So black played bishop d7 instead of taking the pawn. White castles. Yeah, knight to b4 looks like a little bit too eager to exchange pieces. So here maybe he could have gone, for instance, bishop e7 or g6. In fact, white could still take. Black could still take on e4. Yeah, it's like white was desperate to give away the e4 pawn, and black is insisting not to take it. Like it was there for two moves. Knight b4 was something that generally you do not want to move your pieces twice in the opening. You want to complete development and then bring your king to safety. So it is not critical that you exchange the light square bishop at this juncture. You can go bishop e7, but of course taking on e4 is still critical, and I'd like to know what Ethan was contemplating after this. So knight b4, Ethan mouse sleep against Super Lim. Okay, I'll take a look at this after the game. After this game, queen c6, c3, knight e6, and yeah, and now suddenly white's pieces. Yeah, don't put your queen and king in the same file or in the same rank, especially when there are rooks. When there are rooks in the position. So because after rook e1, the game is over. There will be a devastating discover check. Yeah, and the game is just over. So this is a very instructive example of how ugly this can get. So don't put your queen and king on the same rank or on the same file, okay? So like one of the first opening tricks that I learned when I first started learning chess was this one. So this is the Petrov, and knight takes e4 is kind of a mistake, and after queen e2, black can sacrifice a pawn with queen e7, queen takes e4, d6, d4, and so on. But after queen e2, many players would blunder with knight to f6 and then knight to c6, and the devastating discover attack wins on the spot. So this is in many cases, whatever examples that you learn, you can normally apply this to other examples and other positions. So this is one example of that. So if you have seen this before, there will be no excuse to to have missed after queen takes e4, rook e1, because it's exactly the same kind of example that we want to avoid. So let's take a look at the game against Super Lim. Yeah, the chat is going crazy. Okay, I'm trying to understand what's going on in the chat, and I think what happened was there was a mouse slip by Super Lim, and Ethan was trying to tell him to. So what happened here, like? Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously queen d5 was a mistake. Obviously this was a mouse slip, and there should be a way to allow players to take back, because it's such a pity to end the game like this. And yeah, so this was what Ethan was trying to say. I think after queen d5 he asked his opponent to go knight to g8, and then queen c4, and then knight to f6, and then he gets to make a move. So this was what what he was trying to say. But yeah, his opponent took on d5, which is, I mean, I don't want to be harsh, and but yeah, this just ends the game, and there is nothing more to be learned about what could have happened. So a big pity, but yeah, it happened. So please, if you're participating in one of these events, these mouse slips can happen, and what you want to derive from the game is to actually learn something, right? So obviously winning is a nice feeling, but winning from a mouse slip is entirely different from winning by pure merit. So this game is obviously over. If Ethan manages to turn this around, it'll be hilarious, but I don't think it's going to happen, because Black's playing very well now. Yeah. So I think that was what Ethan was trying to say. So guys, I mean, this is a very good example. If this happens again, please do everyone a favor and try to see how you can mitigate against the mouse slip. Because I think Ethan wrote on the chat that if you like, you can repeat the moves, and he actually asked to repeat the moves, but he did not. So yeah, I think all's good. So I think it's all settled. Ethan was is extremely sporting as well. So I'm just saying that I'm not trying to be critical of anyone. I'm just saying this can happen. And when these things happen, try to see whether there's a way to kind of normalize the position by simply repeating the position twice and get back to what it was. I see a fifth victory. So I think that's the game against Amos, which we have seen. So let's look at it. Yeah, bishop g5, queen gone, and the knight is trapped. Yeah, this trick of trapping the queen on f6 can apply in many different situations. So after losing the queen, the game of course is over. But yeah, I just want to show you some examples how the queen can be trapped on f6, so that you can remember this. So one of the most common examples would be this: takes, knight f6, knight takes f6, queen takes f6. So this is not a good opening for black, even though it's still seen from time to time. Knight to f3. For example, black, I don't know, black goes bishop d7, white goes bishop d3, and now I'm threatening bishop to g5. So black thinks that, okay, you want to be tricky, and now instead of going h6 and just meekly defending against the threat, let me go bishop c6. And if you go bishop to g5, I will take on f3, and then I'll be the one who's going to win material. But after bishop c1 to g5, bishop takes f3, white has the tricky little move queen d2, and the queen is trapped. So this is one of my favorite examples. Queen takes d4, there's bishop b5 check, losing the queen as well. So in this position, black's best move is bishop takes g2, and now the queen is no longer trapped because he can go to f3, and it's imperative to take the queen now. Black plays bishop takes h1, and the game goes on. But white is of course for choice at this point. So always try to keep a lookout. Whenever you bring your queen out in any situation, just make sure that he has enough squares to go about. There are many times when I played the French, and in the French, black typically goes with his queen to b6 to put the pressure on the d4 pawn, and in some cases, black could take on b2. And there are some games where I've played where I got my queen trapped. So this is quite an important thing to remember when you bring your queen out into the center or to anywhere else in the game, especially when the board is full of pieces. Just make sure that it has enough squares to extricate itself when the need comes. I see a draw. So I think, oh wow, that's fair play. That's fair play for you. So Super Lim offered a draw, and that's fair play. All credit to him. That's just I like to see this sort of thing, like great sportsmanship for both players. Because firstly, Ethan was not, he didn't really mind, and he made it very clear that he didn't mind that regarding about the mouse slip. And then the opponent, I think Super Lim was apologizing on the chat. I think he didn't quite understand what to do, so he offered a draw. So that's great. I love to see this sort of thing. All credit to both players. Very nice of you, Super Lim. Okay, any other games that have ended? Yeah, precisely. I I booked 3. I'm not sure I should be saying your name out like that, but any other games that are exciting? Let's look at Bernadette Kong's game. I see her brother Date Kong was watching. So Bernie's in time trouble, and Ethan is not somebody that you want to have time trouble against. And okay, Ethan is playing his own stuff, his main opening repertoire, the closed Sicilian. Yeah, e5 is a little bit too early, I think. So yeah, I'll get down to the opening phase in a bit. So let's look at the current position. So black is a pawn up. Thanks Ian for liking the stream. I hope everything is fine in the UK. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't know what to say. It feels like White has the initiative, but at the same time, it's not that easy to make a breakthrough on the king side. So I would like to charge my pawns all the way down, but the rooks on the queen side are not really helping in the attack on Black's king. I'm going to be controversial here and claim that black is doing very well. I feel that black is better, if not substantially better. Because it does feel like the double bishops are exerting a lot of influence on the position. But at the same time, the e5 knight is really strong. There's no good way to dislodge it as it stands. And the a pawn might be deciding the game eventually. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how White intends to continue the attack, but okay, Bernie's in time trouble, so we will see how this game continues. And now I got locked out from Lichess. Like how is that possible?
I got locked out.
Yeah, I think everybody got locked out, yeah? Too many requests, try again later. So that's
Like the website is down.
so I think too many people are following Ethan's Simul and the website just crashed, which is kind of
Yeah, it's crashed.
yeah. So let's give this a few minutes and maybe it's a good time to take a break. I'm not sure how the Simul will now eventually pan out. I'm not sure whether the games will still be there when we rejoin the action. Yeah, this is extremely unfortunate, and I think that because there are so many people online these days, and Lichess has been trying to cope with the substantial increase in numbers ever since COVID-19 issues have sort of caused people to increasingly stay home. Hey Eric, how is it going? Lichess just crashed, man. Yeah, it's kind of weird because um, I thought that at this time the number of users wouldn't be that much as compared to like maybe 6 hours later. So I guess we just have to wait for the time being. Yeah, something is definitely very wrong with Lichess. So let's think about what we can do next. While we wait. Okay, Ethan, let's play a match. Let's log on to chess.com. And then I'll stream this and I tag Lichess, okay? Just to, I mean Lichess is a completely free it's run by volunteers, so we don't want to give them too much stick for it, but anybody who likes to sing can join me in the call, and I'll record this and I'll cut the CD for you. Are you on Chesscom? What's your user? Let me play a match with you now. Yeah, surprisingly the settings are actually quite similar. I need to look for you, or can you look for me? Like just search Kevin underscore go. That's me. Yeah, let me try to align the settings.
The time control.
Anything you want. Anything goes. The only rule is that we have to trash talk.
Okay, wait, let me.
So that's trash talking is one of the most useful skills you can learn. Yeah, let me just do all this setting thing because that yeah the stream was more aligned for was formatted for lichess and not chess.com. So I'm just doing all this aligning this formatting stuff. So do you see me or not?
Yeah, I'm challenging.
Yeah, people are asking to be friends with me on chess.com. I don't see you though. So let's go.
Challenge. Oh, I'm unable to challenge. Maybe you try.
Okay, what's your user?
TOH THAN.
I need to I need to figure out how to search for people. I've never done like challenges like this. That's the reason why I asked you to
Hey,
chat.
Lichess is back. Lichess is back up.
Lichess is back? Okay.
But your stream's not on the front page, right?
No, it will take a while. It will take a while. I think you will get back to yeah, it's back on the front page. So but how's the Simul going on? Have you lost on
Yeah,
time
the
or
game is still there.
okay, great. Great. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. Okay, switch off your speaker, yeah? And now I got to realign everything. So this is just not not the best day that we are having to do streaming. So let's give me a second while I do yeah, the necessary. Yep, I see another draw. Wait, what? Wait, am I in the same? Wait, I see some results. Wait, what's going on? So let's check this game. Okay, I'm getting a call from a viewer. Give me a second, yeah? I'll be back in a bit. Yeah, so I just received a call from technical support. And I think what I understood was that when the game went offline and Ethan was disconnected, there was an option for the players to claim a win because of disconnect. And I think what happened was some of the players actually claimed the win, which means that the game is over. That's why we see some of these weird results coming out. Yep. I will try to. I think I have a suggestion to how to deal with this, but I'm trying to get Ethan's attention.
Yep, I'm listening.
Okay, now you're listening. I think that let's look at all the games and see which are the. So there are some games that are still ongoing. There are some players who are.
There are 11 games. Yeah.
On my screen it says 9 games that are still in play. So for those games that I think some of the players who have claimed either a win, or I mean I see 4 draws. So I believe some players have claimed draws, and for those games I think we will take a look at the games, and see, and make a call on that. And for the games that are still ongoing, we can still continue if you like.
Yeah, yeah. Please continue.
Okay, we'll continue for the remaining 9 games. The ones that have ended in a draw, we will take a look and then make a call on what the rightful result should be. So for instance, there's Lian Kido 2. This game white is winning, so this should not have been a draw. White is a couple of pawns up, and it's kind of easy. You just go white. You just go king to b5 followed by king c5 and take the pawn. So this should not have been a draw. So I understand that it's no fault of anyone. Like the option came and probably the player just clicked on the result. So this is another example when then I think, yeah, black claimed a win, but white is clearly significantly better because he has the extra exchange. So this will be a little bit controversial, but I will be adjudicating some of these games and making a call on what the rightful result should have been just before the crash, because the crash is not of anyone's fault. I mean, you can claim that's Lichess fault, but they are a volunteer group, so yeah. So I think in this instance, it looks like this particular game white should win, and certainly shouldn't have been a loss for white. So other games which so this game is pretty much even. Okay, but here it says that black is victorious, so not quite sure how. White, but it's showing up as a draw on my screen. So this game against Arno Perestin, the character from a cartoon. Can somebody help me out? Which cartoon was that? I remember something school bus or something. I don't know. Yeah, but this position is pretty much even. I think a draw would have been a fairer result. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, I think at this time let's just take a look at the
Reach struggling.
you got disconnected again?
It's yeah. I think it's unstable.
Yeah, okay, I think uh yeah, there's nothing to be done if that's happening. So Well, I mean, now we know that these issues can happen. We'll think of other ways to, or maybe other platforms to try to manage this in the future. So, are you able to re-log in, or you completely can't see the games
Doesn't
now?
look for.
Doesn't load for you because I'm still seeing the games.
Ah,
Are you back?
nope.
Yeah, big pity. Yeah, apologies to the players and to the viewers that this has happened. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I don't think there's anything to be done at this point. Okay, another call coming. Just 1 second. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, but I got. I'm using my phone. Yeah, I got connected. I'm on my phone. I think there are a few people that are disconnected too. Am I the only one disconnected? I mean, I can still play, but I'm not sure whether my opponents are connected.
Yeah, now I think now Ethan is connected, but I'm not sure about the other players. So I'm going to make a call as a de facto arbiter that we'll be adjudicating the rest of the games. It's extremely unfortunate. I'm very sorry to all those players who want to continue playing. Uh, Ivy saw Liu just said that she has 22 seconds left. Um, yeah, there are still games going on. I see Ethan is still making moves in one of the games. My Little Pony is also still playing. Yeah, actually, in the game against My Little Pony, White is in some trouble. Let's see what happens in the. Yeah, you know what? Let's just improvise. If both players are still connected, we just keep going. But it does mean that we need to look for another platform, um, just in case this happens again. As I understand, this doesn't happen all that often. We have done many tests on leeches, and this has not happened before. I have done many simals here as well, and none, something like this has ever happened. I've seen somebody doing 100 player simals. Like there was this crazy guy from from the US. He did a 100 player simal. It lasted like I don't know 6 hours or something. Magical Rabbit stop stalling. I don't think anyone's stalling. I think people are getting people are getting disconnected. So so calm down. I don't think people are stalling really. So the one game where I think Ethan is in some trouble is against My Little Pawn. I thought My Little Pony. So this game, Ethan is a pawn down. I'm not really sure how. So yeah, against again a slightly quirky pawn opening. Or just just blundered the piece. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Because here actually white could have gone. Yeah, I would have gone rook a d1. And the point is rook d8 is a very tempting looking move, but it's actually a mistake. Yeah. So now if rook d8, white could have gone knight to c6, which is a very nice trick. Rook takes d2, knight. Now I blundered. Now I did a mouse slip. Rook takes d2, knight takes d7, king f8. You can even take on g6 with check, pawn takes, and then rook takes d2, and white ends up exchange up and completely winning. So I think rook a d1 would have been perfectly fine for white. I think the position is still very complicated, and there's a fair bit of room for creativity. Bishop on g2 is also operating effectively. If black goes knight c4, white goes queen to c3, maybe a piece will land on c5 soon. Yeah, but instead b3 happened, and after rook d8, and yeah, white's in trouble because there's no good way to defend the knight. So always watch out for these pins. So Ethan played c3, and after e5, yeah, piece down. So anybody knows who My Little Pawn is? Yeah, now I think black can take on a4 and then followed by bishop c5 and f2 f2 force. Ding Si Meng. Yeah, Chinese names are very tricky, so I hope I didn't say your name wrongly. If I do, I totally apologize. Yeah, this was played in the game, so black played exactly what I mentioned, and then f2 force, and I think Ethan can play on, but he can also resign with a clear conscience. Yep, he has resigned. So let's look at some of the games that are still in play. This game against SC30. Yeah, the one thing that I want to be fair to the master is that when something unpleasant like this happens, and it can be very disruptive to his focus and for the game. So generally, these things could turn out to be quite disruptive, and many times you can see that the quality of play actually decreases. So this position, yeah, white is also in some trouble. He's many pawns down. So I'm not quite sure what happened here. Yeah, the opening seems fine for black. So I think, yeah, after c5, yeah, e3 is not something to be recommended, because blocking the bishop here is could turn out to be quite awkward for you, given that you still want to develop your bishop, preferably to on f4 or on g5, and which is why that sometimes after knight c3, d5, d4, knight f6, you go bishop f4, which is the Jobava London, or bishop g5, the very soft. So both lines are not at all impressive. But one thing I can say that after bishop f4, I believe the best way of playing is e7 to e6, and after e3, I think the best way of playing is bishop f8 to b4, and this is recommended by uh, Super Grandmaster Sam Shankland in his Chessable course on the Semislav. So I just watched the Kickstarter guide about 3 days ago, and I remember that this was his recommendation, and he said that he basically just said that the whole concept of putting a knight on c3 and bishop on f4 or g5 is kind of lousy, but black has to know exactly what to do. Yeah, just trying to recall what exactly Sam said in the video, but I think this was what he said. But after knight f3, c5, yeah, e3, yeah, a4, these moves are a little bit artificial to me. So black gets a good game with logical play. Nice, black plays e6. I'm not sure what happened there. Like, it could have been a 3-4 repetition. But if black declined the repetition and wanted to play on, all credit to him. Castles, bishop d6, h3. Yeah, and I think here white blundered with queen takes obviously forgetting about queen takes d4, and then overlooking queen takes h3. So I think the position is more or less over. Is there f3? F3 knight takes c3. No, f3 knight c3, b c3. Wait, so was there an opportunity to go f3? What is this position? F3, there's yeah, okay, this is quite nice. So f3, you can take on c3, then after bc3, attacking the b4 bishop as well as the queen. Black can go bishop c5 check. Very important move. So leaving the queen on pre for one move, but saving his bishop. So king to g2, and then black goes queen f6, and he's 2 pawns up, and with a winning position. So instead, bishop e4, d4, queen to e2, takes on c3. This is good. bc3, bishop d5. So now these 2 pawns are weak, and even though despite the drawing tendencies of opposite color bishop, this is not one of those scenario, because black has all the major pieces in the game. I was actually looking at this stream by Hikaru Nakamura, where he was playing a very strong Russian grandmaster, Artemiev, and Artemiev was 3 pawns up in an opposite color bishop endgame, and what happened was Artemiev exchanged piece after piece, and then ended up with a completely drawn opposite color bishop endgame without rooks and queens. So that was quite hilarious. Yeah, so this position is lost, pretty much, with black is 3 pawns up. I think resignation is more or less in order. Ethan has left the room, so I maybe he has got disconnected again. Oh, but wait, what is going on? What's going on? Wait, what? Black's ex- Black is escaping with his king. Wow, there's no mate. So I think what White wanted to do was to play rook takes g1, but Black can defend with queen. No, but wait. No, you can't because of bishop d3 and his mate. Did Ethan just blunder? No, this is mate. Like, you don't even need to go rook takes g1. You can go bishop d3 immediately and it's mate. Like, how do you stop this? No, I have no doubt that this disruption about the on the server. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone, but I think that ordinarily, I'm pretty sure that Ethan would have seen this because bishop d3 just wins on the spot, and king g7 rook g1 and followed by queen h7 is mate. But instead, after queen takes h5, king g7 rook g1 here. Yeah, now this position is lost. uh, White has absolutely no attack left, and he's facing an attack himself with rook to g8 followed by maybe queen to g2, and also there are threats of knight takes d4. So with a rook down, there's not much that one can do. Yeah, quick rook to g1 was essential, and now Black can go queen h6 and then bring another rook to h8. So this position is pretty much lost. Very, very unfortunate for our young master. So I'll just wait for the games to finish, and just give everybody a very quick overview of what is happening. I'm going to be announcing a couple of upcoming events. So next week, we are very happy to have Grandmaster Andre Cavon, a well-known trainer in Singapore, as well as a very good friend of mine. He has volunteered to contribute to our charity initiative, and he will be doing a 15 board simultaneous exhibition as well, and providing live commentary. Obviously, what happened today, we are going to reconsider which platforms we are going to be using from now on, because this is definitely something that we don't want to happen again. But nothing's going to stop us from doing this. We will just choose another way of getting things done. So that's Andre Kavon, Grandmaster from Uzbekistan, a very, very talented player. He has been working in Singapore for a number of years. So what I know of him is that when he first came to Singapore, he could hardly say a single word of English, but because of his very nice and hardworking attitude, he can now speak very good English. Um, so that's something to learn for everybody. So that's Kavon from for next week, 19th of April, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So a poster is coming up, and I'll be announcing the ways to apply to play him. And then also very happy to announce that on the 3rd of May, we are going to have a match with a very strong and traditional chess powerhouse, and that's Kazakhstan. And with joining me in commentary will be Super Grandmaster and Kazakhstan #1 player Rinat Jumabayev, also a very good friend of mine. His rating is about 2650, a fantastic player. and extremely competitive. He's very familiar with Singapore chess because we have played many. Singapore has been paired against Kazakhstan for a number of times in the last few years. So the last time we played Kazakhstan was in I think 2016 in at the Baku Olympiad, and we were paired against four grandmasters, and at the time we only had Grandmaster Zhang Zong helming bot one, so nobody gave us any chances. We we managed to fight against the odds, and we came away with a huge win when Benjamin Fu beat a Grandmaster on board 4 and Grandmaster Zhang Zong beat Rinat Jumabayev on board 1. I made a draw on board 2, so we won 2.5, 1.5. It could have been better, but I missed a winning sequence in the final stage of my game. So that's we have some history with Kazakhstan over the years, but they have a very strong chess culture, and this will be a match between young players from a number of age groups, so from under 12 all the way up to under 20. We will be announcing how players will be selected, whether by means of the latest results of the national age group, or whether we will hold a selection event. So that's something that we will be working out, and we will be announcing very, very soon. Yep, so let's take a look at the final few games. There are 5 games left. It looks like Lichess has somewhat stabilized, and the players are reconnected, but maybe the damage has already been done, because yeah, I see a few games where he has ended with mate. Yeah, SC30. Yeah, after F5 white can resign, I think. Let's head back. E3. Yeah, this position against Fluffy Marshmallow. Now is not the time to eat too many marshmallows. If you stay at home all day, it's not a good time to be eating too much, but I think that's something that is very hard to avoid. Not much exercise you can do at home, right? So this is a strange hybrid of a French and a Caro-Kann. So now this has transposed to a Caro-Kann, but with black wasting a tempo for moving c7, c6, and then followed by c6 to c5. h4. Once again, Ethan charges his h-pawn forward, going for a kingside attack. So, yep, d4 creating some counterplay in the center was good. Yeah, but here I would have taken with the queen. I think that's for sure. I would have taken with the queen with no question, because now the threat of h5 looks extremely scary. Pawn on d4 is also weak. Maybe I go b4, bishop b2, and take the pawn. So yeah, I think bishop takes e4 is a mistake. Queen takes e4 would have been stronger. I guess black goes rook e8 with the idea after h5 going back with knight gf8. Yeah, there's actually a very nice mate here. No, but how does it work? No, it doesn't work. Yeah, I was hoping to sacrifice on h7 and somehow create a mating net on f7, but it doesn't work. Yeah, this would have been quite strong anyways. Just push, and maybe this. Yeah, this is a chronic weakness. If h6, I go knight to h3. And then eventually I'll go bishop d2, rook a e1, and then followed by queen to g4, and maybe put the knight on f4. So I think one thing generally to remember is that in an attack, that when there's no need to rush, you should try to bring all your pieces into play. So always try to think like uh, what your pieces are thinking. Like this rook would be complaining to you, right? Like he's not involved in anything and he's bored, he wants to come out to play, so bring it out. Like bishop d2, rook a e1, very natural moves and strong. So instead white took with the bishop, rook b8. I think it's still good for white, but I just prefer the other one. Yeah, this was probably not what Ethan wanted, because now after the various exchanges of pieces, black's white's attack has pretty much disappeared. Yeah, rook h8 is a little bit too cautious. I think there's no need for this, but it's still fine. Yeah, okay, g4 is too risky, I think. Opening up the king like this is it's not something to it's not something advisable. Oh, I see, the rook is under attack. No, but you can go queen takes g4 check. You can go here first. F3. F3 is a problem. I see. Someone is challenging me. I have to decline. So queen to c3. You can go queen takes g4 followed by rook takes h5. Once again, sticking to the policy that I mentioned, bring all your pieces into the attack. There's no need to try to force matters with the existing pieces in play. Try to bring your last piece into the game. So once the rook comes to h5, you can go to d5 to double up on the d file, or you can create havoc down maybe the h file. So for example, f3, queen g2, and then followed by rook takes h5 and the game is more or less over. So the king cannot go to e3 because of queen d2 that's made. So he has to go to he has to go to e1, and after rook h5, yep, game is over. But instead, after queen c3, yeah, now funnily enough that the rook is having problems getting into play. So if black can cheat, he would now try to castle and put the rook on f8, but Lichess will not allow you to, because it's not a legal move. Yeah, the king is going to have some problems getting out and to allow the rook to get into play. I suspect queen c8 was played with the idea of playing f7 to f5. Bishop e5 played, queen d8, king e2, f6, and now king f7. Okay, this is quite clever, and now his pieces are coming out. Whoa, no draw. Ethan plays for the win. Yeah, that's very nice. I like he doesn't care about the material disadvantage and he wants to win every game. So all credit to him. But I do think that was like, yeah, so this is supposed to be the current position on the board. I think my mom just called me again. Is there a song request? Sorry, I'm going to try to figure out all these short commands. I'm not firstly, I'm not a Twitch partner as of now. I'm just an affiliate. So maybe some of these commands are not available as yet. So emotes and things like that. Yeah, the chat is going mad. So let's look at some of the other games. So the game with Zixian, I think, or can someone help? Who is Ivy Saw Liu? I believe it's one of the Liu siblings, but I'm not quite sure which one. Yeah, okay, so I've obviously yeah, it's Zixian. Yeah, yeah, this is a family friendly channel. We have kids here, so I can't sorry bro, I can't post your message because this is there are many kids here. When I'm alone doing my own stuff, then obviously profanity doesn't quite matter. But yeah, so it appears that Ethan found has found a way to try to trick uh, Zixian. Okay, I think firstly here black could have just gone a6. Okay, black offers draw accepted, and a huge escape for Ethan. Okay, but I think black just panicked because here he could have gone a6, and he would still have ended up a piece to the good. So bishop takes b5, a takes b5, and life is fine. You're piece up. But what happened was after queen to c5, now everything is being tied up. Like there are pins everywhere. In fact, Ethan could play, for example, rook to e1 and have a. For example, he could do this, another pin. So that's like 3 pins in the position. With 40 seconds left on the clock, it would have been very easy for black to go wrong here. So like, for example, a move like f6, defending the knight. There, you could go bishop takes b5, queen b5, and f4, and the knight is pinned. And suddenly white looks like he's ready to try to win this position. Oh wait, it's not pinned because the queen is defending against the rook. So maybe f4 first, and there's still a pin going on. Not very sure, but obviously this is something that black could have avoided earlier. So that's a draw. We have 2 games left, and 1 game against the fluffy marshmallow where I think Ethan is in some trouble, and against the lion Leo. So let's look at the lion Leo. I did not manage to go through this. So this pass pawn on g6 is a critical feature of this position, because it just severely restricts black's movement. The knight on h8 is trapped, and in fact it's lost after g6 to g7, I think. Yeah, g6 to g7 just wins the piece. But wait, white is already a piece down from the start, so that puts things completely in a different perspective. G to f g, yeah. So now this is completely different now. Black wants to go rook to g7, blocking up the g file. How are we doing on the pawn in terms of pawns? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 2 3 4 5. So white has sacrificed a piece for a pawn. Yeah, what is this position? I don't understand this. It feels like G6 to G7 is thematic. So let's analyze this a little bit more. This feels like it could win. And also there's a secondary threat of taking on H8, and after King H8 I go knight G6 followed by taking the rook. So I think Ethan is trying to work out maybe he has seen a way for black to respond, and he's trying to see how to react. Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure what. So let's say I go here. Is this force? Or maybe I can take on f6 first. So for instance, ef6 and the knight is still trapped. Queen f6 is not possible because there's a pain and misery down the G file. So after ef6, maybe rook. You can't go rook takes f6. Or can you? Maybe you can. Rook f6. Now he's threatening knight to f7, so it's time to take on h8. King to h8. Yeah, and now this is the position to try to figure out whether there is a force win. Maybe there isn't, but there's no harm trying. It feels so winning for white. Like if I can bring my rook to the g3 square, this would be heaven. Yeah, this looks so bad for black, but I don't see a win, which is really strange for me. So black, okay, what is black trying to do? He's going queen to d5, exchanging queens. So maybe I should just go rook to e1, but there's knight takes c3 followed by knight e4. So I was thinking rook e1, and if queen d5 I can take this one, and then maybe there's mate, or there's none. Knight g6. This looks super dangerous, but still I don't see an immediate win. But instead after this, after rook c1, there's knight takes c3, which is kind of inconvenient because after rook to e3, knight to e4. And also now after knight g6, there's rook takes g6, which would be very unpleasant to have to meet. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. It's way too complex. I see. I think white, yeah, in this position Ethan took on d5 thinking that he's going to win some material, but black has had the very clever retort queen to d8, attacking both pieces. I believe he just missed this, and that's why he went knight to f6, and we got this position. So let's see how the game continued. Oh, it looks like the game is over. So after knight d5, queen d8, knight f6 takes g7. Okay, instead of ef6, he continued rook f7, ef6. Okay, okay, he continued the queen takes f6, which was what we analyzed earlier. And this ended up with mate. But rook takes f6 would have been not that clear to me at least. Okay, very good win. Last game with the fluffy marshmallow, and then we are done. Yeah, over here 1 2 3 4 5. So we have the same number of pawns. Ethan has a big time advantage, but he's in some trouble. So if black manages to win another pawn, then he can create a pass pawn on the queen side. So this is a little trick. So king to e3. If black plays queen takes c4, queen e8, and it's a draw. So queen c4, queen e8, queen g6, and it's a perpetual. Yeah, now rook h6. Yeah, the rook has gone to h6 like 50 times, I think. Now's the time to try to do something. To try to break up the pawn structure on the king side. So maybe f5. Okay, queen c7 is a cautious move, just stopping any checks down the d file. Very sensible move. Maybe f5 is a lot more direct. Rizam, thanks Rizam for following. So f5 is, yeah, looks very strong actually. And what's going on here? If g5 takes g6, threatening this, I just go rook h3 and the game is over. Yep. Black continued queen c7. Yeah, tough game. Very difficult for white now. So the game continued after queen c7, queen e4, and queen to f7. So now, the idea of playing f5 was sooner or later surface. Queen a8 check, I go king h7, and then if you go back with queen e4 check, I go f5. I think that's going to happen. He's going to repeat with queen e4 check, and black's going to play f5. Yeah, queen g2, and now f5. Should we what? Maybe gaining time on the clock because black only has 20 seconds left. But I mean, white really doesn't have anything much better than repeating moves. So that's a pre-move by Ethan, hustling. Yep, I think maybe he was afraid of something like bishop c3 and the diagonal was weak, but it is really imperative to get the rook into play. Yeah, queen e4, queen a8 check, king h7, queen e4, f5. I don't see a safer way to try to bring the rook into play. Let's take a look at the chat and see what's going on the Lichess. The Lion Leo says good game. There are any games that I have not really covered. I think I covered most of it. Right, this ended really badly for Bernie. So I just want to go to the point where yeah, suddenly the attack became irresistible. And h6 was like opening up the position for white for white um, to attack. Yeah, but still it's not so clear. The other rook comes to g2. Yeah, this is very strange. Yeah, now white crashes through on the g file and yep. I am Wage. Thanks for following. So the king is not hiding on h8, and I don't really see how. So I think Ethan has won a pawn. Wow, is he going to win this? That would be mind blowing. Now I actually quite fancy his chances. Like this. I mean, if Ethan pulls this off, it would be an amazing feat because the position was so lost. Like if I'm white, I will go somewhere. I will try to take the pawn and then I'll start pushing. Yeah, this position becomes very very unpleasant for black now. Yeah, bishop c3 was something that I was thinking of as well. Like it really discourages f5 because it feels like the king is under pressure. But maybe now it's still possible to go f5. Yeah, now maybe g5 is yeah, g5 looks like okay, there's no need to rush, like I always say. No need to rush. Play g5 later. So take and then queen takes g5, attacking the h6 rook. Yeah, g5 now. G5 that white has to go g5 now. G5 now looks really good. Yep. And black has to take on h5. Pretty much the only move. And then there are checks, but okay, this is lost. Now gf6 and it's lost. But surely this is over now. Gf6, queen takes f6, king g8, queen g6 check, and it's over. Like the rook is lost. So Ethan won this game by sheer persistence and finding tricks at the right moment. Yeah, so this happened as what I said earlier. Fantastic comeback. Are there any best game prizes that we are giving out for today or no? A photograph with Ethan. Yeah. Why there are no real chances of a perpetual here. Anytime white can always pull the queen back, and these two pieces will be more than enough to block the checks by the solitary black queen. So queen d3 actually would be a sensible move. Alternatively, you make some checks like you go queen h8, then queen f6, and from experience, this is not going to be there's not going to be any perpetual. So we're just waiting for this game to finish, and then we will later on we will take a look at all the games and make a call as to whether we have to change the results by adjudication. Some non-chess master has followed. Thanks for following. Yeah, we are going to be ending the show very soon, so just want to give another shout out that we are doing this for charity. We are targeting an extremely ambitious stretch goal of 100,000 to contribute to the affected families by due to COVID-19. So there are many people who have lost their jobs, and they're struggling to make ends meet. And if it's within your means, please contribute to the cause and contact me, and I'll let you. I'll be happy to address any specific queries that you have. Yeah, now the game is over. Just they are moving by inertia now. Ethan's is in the groove now. Like he's trying to work out the fastest way to mate. Like, okay, mate in 4, come on. I have no idea whether that's mate in 4 or not, but probably there is. Yeah, 1 and then queen c7 or queen d7 followed by king g6 and it's mate. So, yeah, queen d7 and king g6. He's looking for a mate in 3 maybe, but there's no mate in 3. Like, to mate in 2 moves here, I don't think it's quite possible. Okay, he's trying, but it doesn't work. King g8. Yeah, there's no mate, so he has to take. Okay, he has taken like 2 more moves, so so he lost the challenge. And now queen g7. Thanks Cecilia for liking the stream. So yeah, all the games are over. I'm gonna get Ethan to come back on. Very good save against Fluffy Marshmallow. Like, so I was just sharing on the stream that the game was destined to, like, black has to try to go for f6 to f5 at some point. So for instance, yeah, there are many moments when black could have done that. I think for instance on move 56 after queen g2, black could have played f5, I think. Yeah, f5 and then I take on h5 eventually. So this probably wins. And then even after queen a8, king h7, queen g2, again on move 58 you go f5. This is the way to try to get the rook out in the easiest possible manner. It's quite possible that there are other ways to win, but it is you want to have the rook out there roaming the board instead of being trapped on h6 or on h6. So yeah, so this game I
Yeah,
think
but okay, he tried to win.
yeah, okay. I mean he could have repeated moves, but he was trying to win, so that's all credit to him. I think he didn't see the idea of f5. If he had seen it, he would have played it. Yeah. Then somehow took on a7, and then the game is suddenly over. So also the game against with Zixian, I think you had a win, yeah. There was a mate in two. So
Again,
yeah, instead of queen takes h5, I think bishop d3. I think this wins. I think it's just mate. On move 22, bishop d3 wins. Mate in 3 or 4, I don't
yeah,
know.
four, yeah.
Yeah, just a second. I think Junior is calling me. Give me a second. Yeah, so bishop d3 would have won on the spot, I think,
Yep.
because I think what happened was after queen h5, you forgot that the king could
Yeah.
run to f6, right? Like, so I was speculating that maybe the disruption to the server might have distracted you.
Well, I think it happened before.
Okay, so that's honesty for you. So actually, rook takes g1 also wins because queen h4 is the only move, stopping queen takes h5, and now bishop d3 mates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's made. So I think here, of course, the game was lost, and you managed to find some tricks. Yeah.
I think it's still lost.
Yeah, I think the final position is still lost, but
Yeah.
okay, but the white had the time trouble. But yeah, here I was saying that you probably would have gone something like rook e1.
I mean, queen
What?
g5. Yeah.
Yeah, this. Yeah, okay. I mean, suddenly when you see the king escapes, it must have been very unpleasant. Um,
Yeah.
but very good save. That was a nice comeback. Then I think you pretty much exploited your opponent's mistakes very brutally. Like many kingside attacks. Yeah. The other game that I found was quite interesting was the one against Lion Leo. So I was trying to figure out after e/f6 during the stream, does white has a win after rook takes f6, which I couldn't quite find, even though it looks like the game has to be winning, but I don't see it.
Rook takes f6.
Yeah, on move 42, because queen f6 just allows mate in 2.
Yeah, but you can also take on g7. Rook takes g7. I think, but like it's fine.
Which position after rook f?
Instead of rook takes f6, rook takes g7.
Oh, I didn't see rook g7.
Yeah, but okay, it's still very high.
Ah, this was very nice. Yeah, this is very nice actually. Takes here.
White might be winning. Maybe some queen h7 takes something.
So, I mean, I was trying to see what happens after here. Rook f6 uh, takes. I didn't see a win here, even though it looks like it has to be winning.
Yeah, maybe.
And I said after rook g6, there was even the possibility of rook takes g6.
After rook f6.
Yeah, rook. If you go to, maybe you can watch the stream. Like move 42.
Yeah.
Rook f6, gh, king h8, knight g6, king h7. Yeah, either king h7 or rook takes g6. And white has to take with the pawn. and then you can do stuff like, so black has 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6.
That's probably still winning.
Yeah, it looks like it's still winning for white. So maybe king h7 instead of rook takes g6.
Yeah, but even just knight e5.
Yeah, okay, it looks very very good, but like you expect that there's going to be mate here, but queen to d5, and then you wonder what's going on. But there's not f3, and maybe this wins. Threatening queen to g8, and I go queen to d8. So, okay, so then queen d8, queen d5 doesn't make any sense. So maybe something else, like knight to d6, followed by knight d4. It's actually not very trivial, like how you want to break through this surprisingly resilient defense. Black could also go queen f8, rook g7 if I really have to. And the point is that you cannot really get your rook to the g3 square because black goes knight to e4, stopping rook g3, and you don't have any other square to treble your pieces.
Hmm.
So 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 let's see what the engine says. The engine says what is completely winning, but it's not at all clear why. So he says queen to h3 followed by rook g6, but it's I wouldn't say it's an easy maneuver.
Yeah.
Like maybe in the standard game it's possible to find, but actually not trivial at all. So yeah, rook f6, gh, king. Yeah, so the computers is the engine is saying that you don't go knight g6 at all, or maybe it does. Okay, it does. So instead of queen d5, you go knight to d6. Queen h3. So do you set this trick up? Like, because I had the idea that um that you miss queen d8, I thought.
On what move?
Like on move 44 when, sorry, move 39 when you played knight takes d5, I thought you missed queen d8. Or you set the knight f6 up before that.
Yeah, I saw knight f6.
Okay,
But
very good.
didn't really look at everything after that.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so the way to win is demonstrated clearly by the engine. After rook f7, instead of ef6, you go gh8, check, king takes h8, and queen to g6.
Wow.
And
And if f e5?
if f e5, queen h6, and knight g6, and some discover attack. So here, here, and life is tough.
Okay.
Yeah, so queen g6 is the way to. I honestly did not consider this during the stream as well. And what happens after queen f8? Wow, d5. Come on. Come on, d5. Like, wow. So it's very easy to say that, a position is completely winning, but then you have to see moves like d5 that is not easy at all. I don't even see, yeah, it took me a while to completely understand what this is about. Basically, I want to bring the knight into play. So I'm gonna go e6, and then maybe knight takes f5, or queen takes f5 followed by knight g6. So that's the whole point. I want to put a knight on g6, with my queen on f5. So this is the main point, and it's not easy at all. Yeah, that would have been it would have been interesting to see how you would have continued after. Yeah, because yeah, here is yeah you clearly you are right in saying that rook takes g7 was the best move. I completely missed it because after takes queen h4, this suddenly becomes very unclear. Takes. Black has two knights, so this is clearly lost for white. But after rook g7, queen takes g7, rook takes g7, rook g7, king f8. There's what is this? What is this position? Like, can I go rook h7? With the idea queen f6, rook h8. But even this is not entirely clear. So instead, knight f7, maybe? Knight to g6, king e8. Very, very clear and complicated. We have come to the end of the show. So thanks very much, Ethan. Any last words? Any final comments?
Donate to leeches if you can. Then you'll prevent crashes.
I think these guys really need help. They are volunteer group. So they have a P&L, a profit and loss statement on their website, which shows exactly how much money they need to keep the operations running. So yeah, donate to leeches. I donated to leeches. So but if you don't want to donate to leeches, donate to Chess Against COVID. I think that to help people who have suffered in the last few months because of COVID-19. So we have come to the end of the show. Thank you very much for following. And tomorrow there's going to be something happening. Yeah. So do you want to share with everybody what's happening tomorrow?
I think there's a team event tomorrow for the charity also, among 4 teams, and I'm one of the team captains.
Yeah. So
yeah.
There's going to be a team battle on the Lee Chess Arena. It's more of a test event, and if it works, and we will do this more often, and I think it'll be fun to have multiple teams playing against each other when bragging rights suddenly become a lot more important when it's live. So that's tomorrow, and what time would that be?
2 p.m.
So tomorrow at 2 p.m. and I'll be streaming this live as well, and just laughing at everyone. So once again, thanks very much to everybody for following, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, and have a good weekend.